Hello, my name is Chris, call sign Mike 0 Romeo Sierra Foxtrot. I was first licensed in June 2005 when I set the foundation and got the call sign Mike 3 Kilo Foxtrot Bravo. The following year, April 2006, I sat the intermediate exam and I got the call sign 2 Echo 0 Foxtrot Sierra Romeo. Then April 2011, I sat the full exam and I got my current call sign Mike 0 Romeo Sierra Foxtrot. It was actually 10 years ago today that I got this call sign, Mike 0 Romeo Sierra Foxtrot. So I've had it for a decade today. My main interests at the moment in our wonderful hobby are QRP and portable operating. Ever since I got first licence back in 2005, I've always been interested in getting out of the comfort zone of the shack to play some radio. I've done SOTA presentations at several local amateur radio clubs, and it always seems to have gone down well. When I'm stood at the front there, waffling away, I can tell if people are interested, if they're not nodding off, if they're not playing with the smartphones, they're not chatting to each other. It always seems to have gone down well. So what I've decided to do is put a short video together and do a brief presentation to put online. It's not the be-all and end-all, but it should be enough to get you started and answer a few questions. So how did SOTA start? How did Summits on the Air start? It was the original idea of John, Golf 3 Whiskey Golf Victor, developed along with Richard, Golf 3 Charlie Whiskey India. SOTA was first launched March the 2nd, 2002. John and Richard couldn't see many participants taking part. They couldn't see much interest at the time. England and Wales were launched first, followed by Scotland. Today there are currently 185 associations or DXCC taking part in SOTA worldwide. Okay, there's 185 DXCCs taking part. So the SOTA programme, what is it? SOTA is an awards programme for radio amateurs and shortwave listeners that encourages portable operation in mountainous areas. SOTA has been carefully designed to make participation possible for everyone. This is not just for mountaineers, okay? There's quite some easy summits out there. There are awards for activators, who are those that ascend the summits. They climb the mountains with the radio gear and put the stations on. They're the activators. And the chasers, who they either operate from home, perhaps out mobile or a local hilltop, or are even on a summit themselves. You sometimes get summit-to-summit contacts. So it's not just for mountaineers, there are some quite easy summits. A question I'm often asked, this can be quite confusing, is what qualifies for a SOTA summit? I believe SOTA goes by the Marilyn's list, okay, the list of Marilyns. I've been asked this question before, why is there a SOTA summit down the road from me that qualifies for Summits on the Air, but just opposite there's one that's much higher that doesn't qualify? And don't understand, Chris, can you help me out? So to qualify for a SOTA summit, a summit has to have a prominence greater than 150 metres from the surrounding area, from surrounding peaks. A vertical separation concept, 150 metre prominence. It's got to stand up 150 metres from the surrounding ground. As SOTA goes by the Marilyn list, occasionally some SOTA summits are removed or replaced. The chaps that run the Summits on the Air scheme, it doesn't just happen overnight. You get plenty of notice. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly how long it is. It could be about a month. It gives people a chance to activate a summit that's going to be removed, and of course when there's a new summit comes on, there's often a flurry of activity, people wanting to be the first to activate the new summit. So the prominence definition. Look at these three summits here. Look at the one on the left. A 300 metre summit qualifies for SOTA, because if you look to the left and right of it surrounding, it's got 150 metre drop off, at least 150 metres on all round on both sides. The middle summit in that picture does not qualify for SOTA, even though it's 330 metres. It's 30 metres higher than the one on the left that does qualify. Because if you look at the one in the middle, on the left side, yeah, it's got a nice big drop there. On the right hand side, it's only got a 50 metre drop. So although it's higher, it doesn't qualify. And of course the one on the right hand side, the 400 metre summit, that's got a nice big drop on the left and right. So that qualifies for SOTA as well. So I hope that's cleared things up for you a little bit. What qualifies for SOTA and what doesn't. SOTA scoring. The SOTA summits are based on their height above sea level. Varies by association, which means there might be mountains in another country, in another DXCC, that are similar height to ours, but the points are slightly different. Okay, it varies by association, by DXCC. May include a seasonal bonus for activators. We have something here in the UK called a winter bonus. And off the top of my head, I believe it runs from the 1st of December till about the 15th of March. What the seasonal bonus does is you get 3 extra activator points for activating a SOTA summit that is worth 2 points or more. So you don't get the seasonal bonus for 1 point summits, you just get the single point. So as you can see in the UK, under 500 metres is 1 point. 500 metres to 600 metres you get 2 points. 600 to 700 metres is 4 points. 700 metres to 800 metres you get 6 points. 800 metres to 900 metres is worth 8 points. And 900 metres or more is worth 10 points. Scoring does not necessarily go with the height of the summit, okay, the difficulty. For instance, one of my favourite summits, Golf / November Papa 032 Craco Fell, it's a 3.3 mile walk to the top and it's worth 2 activator points. Another one of my favourite summits is Golf / November Papa 017 Fountains Fell. It's about half the walk of that, but it's worth 4 points. Okay, so not necessarily on how difficult on how high they are. There's some sort of summits that are quite easy walk for some decent points, and even some of the 1 pointers is quite a long walk in. So the SOTA summit references. If you look at the top one there, you've got G/NP 010 Pen-y-Ghent. So of course the G is the DXCC or the association. That's of course the UK. The 2 letters following that, NP, is the area or the region. North Pennines 010 Pen-y-Ghent. The number 10 is a unique number to the SOTA summit. The one in the middle there is one in Wales, Golf Whiskey / November Whiskey 040 Taliban. Another favourite of mine. Obviously GW is Wales. NW North Wales is the area, is the region. 40 Taliban. The SOTA summit at the bottom, Golf Mike / Whiskey Sierra 001 Ben Nevis. Golf Mike, of course, being Scotland. Whiskey Sierra is at Western Scotland 001 Ben Nevis. Okay, so you've got in the summit references, the first bit's the association or DXCC. The couple of letters are for your region, and each SOTA summit will have a unique reference number. At the bottom of the page there, it says "Spot the mistake," and while you're looking at that, I'll just have a little waffle on. That was my very first SOTA activation, the 28th of January 2006. Golf Stroke November Papa 029 Sharp or a 1 point summit. G Stroke Northern Pennine 029. In fact, the handheld I'm using there is a Kenwood TH-G71E. Just a handheld, but I've got a better antenna if you look. It's one of the whip antennas that you can buy to improve the performance of a handheld. That day, just using the handheld, I got 26 QSOs. That included 5 summit-to-summit QSOs, and the best QSO I had that day was with a chap on the Isle of Man. Okay, so spot the mistake, it says at the bottom of there. Seriously, look what I'm wearing. It surprises me how people will spend money on radio gear but not decent clothing. I've got a pair of jeans on there. Alright, I've got boots on, I've got a decent top. I haven't got any gloves. If you look, I'm frozen. Okay, so not the best idea. Principal rules for activators. You cannot use motorised transport to get to the summit. You must walk or cycle to the summit. Okay, no getting a lift off your mate in his 4x4 or anything like that. You can't use motorised transport. However, Golf Whiskey Stroke November Whiskey 001 Snowdon in Wales, there's actually a train that goes to the top. That actually qualifies for SOTA. You can get the train to the top because the final ascent is on foot. So where you get off the train, you've got a little bit of a walk up to the summit. So that actually qualifies because you're not getting the train all the way to right up to the very summit where you operate from, basically. Not far from me, Golf Stroke Tango Whiskey 004 Bishop Wilton Wold, known locally as Garraby Hill. That's literally a drive on summit. You can drive all the way. There's a nice big turning circle at the top of the summit. You park your car there. You must walk away from your car a decent distance and set up. You can't operate from your car. Okay. Another summit that I can actually see from my shop window, Golf Stroke November Papa 028 Rumbolds Moor, better known as Ilkley Moor. You can drive up to the top there and it's just a short, less than 5-minute walk into the activation zone. Speaking of the activation zone of a summit, you're allowed a 25-metre vertical drop from the true summit. Okay, so that's a vertical drop. So if you look at maps, some of these activation zones are enormous. You could be a mile from the summit but still in the activation zone, providing you're not not more than 25 metres from the top. You must be within the 25 metre from the top of the summit. You must operate from a portable power source. Okay, so you normally take a battery. So I've known some people use solar panels to trickle charge the batteries to keep them going. You must carry all equipment to the summit. There's no way of getting your mate to take all your gear up there. Okay, you've got to carry it all yourself. I was once asked. I'm known for using the FT817, which I got my first one in 2006. Absolutely love the radio. And I was asked if I was taking a linear amplifier. Well, who's going to carry the battery for that? Yeah, you don't need much power when you're operating from summits, especially VHF. There's a saying in the height is might, so no, definitely taking a linear amplifier. I was actually a little bit sarcastic to this chap, and I says I'm going to take a 30-metre tower and a 400 watt linear to the summit, and I don't think he registers. You must make at least 4 QSOs. There must be 4 simplex QSOs. Okay, QSOs via repeaters, they don't count. I've sometimes struggled. I've been on a SOTA summit and I've got my 3 QSOs, and I've actually been known to tune up and down the bands on VHF and actually call in on a QSO. Excuse me, chaps, I've just climbed this hill up here. I need to get 4 contacts. I've only got 3. And 9 times out of 10, people have been more than happy to work you. I've even been known to call in a repeater and say, I'm sorry chaps, can I just borrow one of you to just go simplex just to give me a report please so I can qualify the summit. So you need 4 simplex QSOs. What I tend to do when I'm activating is I tend to set up away from the trig point. The mountains are for everyone. Everyone deserves to enjoy them. If you set up away from the summit, you can operate in peace and quiet. You don't get a million questions and everything else. An activator can activate a SOTA summit once per calendar year to claim the points. Okay, so from 1st of January to 31st of December, you can only operate a summit once to claim the points. You can, however, if you've activated it early in the year, you can activate the summit in the winter bonus period and you can just claim the winter bonus points. So if you go activate a summit that you've already done before, it could be a 6, 8, 10 point summit, you're only going to get winter bonus points if you do it in the winter bonus because you've done it earlier that year. However, chasers, they can work a summit every day and claim the points once. So if you've worked somebody on Helvellyn today, you can work them again tomorrow, and the day after you can claim the points. Bands and modes. Obviously, a lot of 2 meter FM. Sometimes people just use a handheld with a stock antenna. You're better off with a decent antenna. Okay, Slim Jim, whatever, something that's going to improve your station a bit more. It can be difficult with just a handheld. Okay, SSB can be popular, especially for the UK activity contests. Tuesday evenings, the first Tuesday of the month, people use 2 meter SSB. There's some people go out and do summits. They're very popular, and CW is also used occasionally. I've never worked a summit on 2 meter CW, to be honest, but I believe it is used. HF, of course, a lot of CW is used for activators. Use a lot of CW due to the use of QRP equipment. It's small and it's light. There's some frequencies there that are people often use for summits on there. You don't have to use them. You're not tied to them frequencies, but they seem to be the popular ones. Typical SOTA equipment. The Yaesu FT817 is very popular. Of course, it's small and light. It gives you HF, it'll give you VHF and UHF, all modes as well. People sometimes just use a handheld. As you saw in the earlier slide, I used the little Kenwood handheld. Well, I remember that Kenwood handheld took 14 hours to charge and about an hour to run flat. Speaking of a handheld, I can highly recommend, if you get into SOTA, even if you're going to do HF and things, take a handheld with you. This can be very useful if you forget something simple like a cable or a connector. You imagine you've taken a couple of hours to drive out somewhere, you might have taken another couple of hours to climb a hill, and you've forgot a cable, or you've forgot a connector, or you've even forgot the microphone. I've known people do it. Taking a handheld with you could actually bail you out and get you your contacts, so you won't necessarily have a wasted journey. Also, having a handheld with you, I think 90% of my SOTA activations I've done alone. I've done solo. A handheld with you, you can chat through a local repeater. You can have a chat simplex with people. One of the handhelds I use is the Yaesu FT25. It's got a radio on it as well, so that'll keep me company on the ascent and the descent as well. I know one chap that actually listened to a test match. He listened to some cricket when he was climbing his summit. Okay, so always take a handheld. Can't stress enough how important it is. Some people like to use a more powerful radio, a high-powered radio, something like the Yaesu FT857, though of course that's obviously you're going to need a bigger battery if you want to run a little bit more power. Some of the VHF, UHF antennas that I use. On the left there, I think that picture's taken on Pennygent. You can just about make Ingleborough out in the background. That's the 2 metre multifunction dipole. It's just basically some plumber's pipe, 4 pieces of plumber's pipe and a little bit of coax. It fits in the rucksack, it's light, and it works very well, as can be seen. If you watch some of my YouTube videos, you'll see that in action. It performs really well. It can be mounted vertical or horizontal, and like I've done there, you can fasten it to a fence post and you can tuck down out of the wind, so you're a bit more comfortable when you're operating. I know people have tried to copy this with various degrees of success. Some seem to work, some don't. But that 2 metre multifunction dipole, I really like that antenna. Some people use that just with a handheld. I sometimes do the same. I use it with my 817 sometimes. Great antenna that. On the right hand side it's SOTA Beam's SB270 Yagi antenna. It's, if I remember, 3 elements on 2 metres, 6 elements on 70 centimetres. That can be vertical or horizontal. Superior performance on that thing. But if you think about it, you're going to have to take a support, you're going to have to take some sort of mast or a fishing pole, and it needs rotating. You're going to have to turn the thing, okay? The multifunction dipole, fasten that up and get tucked in behind a wall somewhere, get shelter and forget all about it. Okay, so there are a couple of antennas that I use. This was an activation of Golf Stroke November Papa 032 Craco Fell. I took part in one of the backpackers contests. It's not the highest summit at, I think it's 508 metres or 1,678 feet in old money. So I took part in the backpackers contest. I used 5 watts using my Yaesu FT817 on 2 metre SSB, and I took a 7 amp hour sealed lead acid battery. The sealed lead acid batteries, they're heavy but they're reliable. And as you can see on that, I worked England, I worked Wales, Scotland, Isle of Man and into Northern Ireland. And I got an award there, to the right of that slide you're looking at. I got 6th place in my section. It was great fun basically. I didn't operate in anger. I just went up there, flask of tea, bite to eat, played a bit of radio, 2 metre SSB and had great fun. It was fabulous. Some of the HF antennas that I use. On the left is the end-fed half-wave antenna, which does work quite well. I use that with my FT817. I've got a small matching unit. Of course you need a tree or a fishing pole to support the centre of it, and just run a counterpoise out on the ground underneath the antenna. It works quite well for what it is. All of course, one or both ends of the antenna are quite close to the ground, so I'm a bit unsure about ground losses. They do work, and I've had some great fun with them. In fact, what I need to do, I need to make an antenna, an end-fed half-wave for 17 metres for when this contest's on. Anybody that's activated a SOTA Summit on the popular bands 40 metres, 20 metres when the contest's on, they'll know it's difficult, especially if you're running low power. So that's on my to-do list, is to make an end-fed half-wave for 17 metres. On the right of the picture there, you can see a linked dipole. All the antenna is elevated, the ends, the centre. To be fair, that is the best HF portable antenna that I've used. What you do is, these little clips like you can see on the right hand side, you open or close the links to operate on different bands. This antenna performs very well. You don't need an ATU. I say it's the best portable antenna I've used. So that's one side of the antenna you can see there. If you decide to open up link 3 on one side of the antenna, you open it up on the other side as well. You do both the same. But that's fantastic. Definitely the best portable antenna I've ever used. So that picture you can see is the main Summits on the Air website. You need to register to take part. If you decide to register, use your call sign. These alerts, which you can put an alert on the SOTA Summit to say I'm going to be on this hill at this time. There's some spots. Often when you're on a SOTA Summit and somebody hears you, they will put a little spot on for you to say that you're on this frequency and this mode. And there's a little forum with loads of information on there. Okay. The SOTA database, which you need to register so you can enter your SOTA chases and your activations. Again, use your call sign. Now this is interesting. Any chaser or activator points that you get, they carry over if you upgrade your call sign. So you've got your foundation call sign and you get a couple of 100 activator points, and then you pass the intermediate exam. Your points carry over. You do not have to start again. And likewise, if you go from the intermediate, you get the full call sign. Your points will carry over again. You don't have to start again every time you upgrade your call sign, which is useful. That's the SOTA spots page. Let's have a look. Try and pick one out. Let's have a look. I can see Echo Alpha 2 India Foxtrot stroke portable there on Echo Alpha 2 stroke November Victor 116 14.063 CW. Okay, so that's like SOTA's own little DX cluster, if you like. There are people that watch this, so when you get spotted, you can certainly tell the difference on the radio. Just expect a little mini pilot when you get spotted. And if you are going to activate a summit, put an alert on if you can. There will then be people listening for you. People will see that and think, oh, Chris is on so-and-so at 12 o'clock, I'll have a listen for him. I always tend to put time plus or minus, because you might be early or you might be late. You don't know what's going to happen en route to the summit. You could get stuck in traffic, you could have a flat tyre, there could be anything. Okay, what some people tend to do, if there's mobile phone coverage on the top, they'll spot themselves. They'll go onto here, the SOTA spots, and they'll put a spot on, tell you exactly what frequency they're on. And like I say, expect a mini pilot. The reflector on the right hand side there, you can see, people who haven't registered on there, they can read that, but they can't comment. Okay, so anybody can see it. Anyone can see that. The activator roll of honour. I'm in there somewhere. There we are, number 101, Mike 0 Romeo Sierra Foxtrot. I've logged 91 SOTA activations. I've done more often when I've gone along with others who want to operate a summit, and I've just gone along for the day. I've just gone for the day out. At the side of 91, you can see I've done I've gained 282 activator points, and at the side of that, 54 bonus points. So I've got 336 activator points to date. Not a massive amount, but I do enjoy myself when I'm out there. This is the Chaser Roll of Honour, and I'm on there again somewhere. Oh yeah, number 134. So I have had 695 chases, and I've got 2,555 chaser points. They're mostly VHF. There's the odd one on HF, but I don't tend to bother. It's mainly VHF stuff that I've done. If you look on there, there's some very familiar call signs as well. Bottom of the list there, I can see M0XLT, the voice of the Yorkshire Dales. Underneath me there, I see Mark, who organises the Lake District weekends, M0NOM. There's a few on there. SOTA Awards. Your first certificate, whether for an activator or a chaser, is 100 points. Your next one is 250 points. After that, 500 points, and then when you get to 1,000 points, as a chaser, you become a shack sloth. Or if you get 1,000 activator points, you become a mountain goat. You can see the certificate at the top right there. I achieved my shack sloth August 2010, and it's endorsed all VHF, UHF. So I got 1,000 points, VHF, UHF. You don't have to stop there. I believe that there's further certificates at 2,500, 5,000 and 10,000. On the bottom right there, you see the things that look like little blocks of ice. You can get them as well, their awards for activating and chasing. Quite nice actually. Not sure if they're still available, but they're quite nice. Mountain safety. This is massive. Safety is important to SOTA. Do not take unnecessary risks. Don't get some brainstorm at 2 o'clock in the afternoon in winter. You're going to go do that 2,500 foot mountain down the road, yeah, because you've not got much daylight, right? Think about what you're doing. Probably best advice I can give is start off small. Take somebody with you, Okay, go and enjoy yourself and see how you go. Okay, don't take unnecessary risks. A little story, years ago, my lad and I, we went to activate Helvellyn, and on the way up the A65, about a third of the way, there'd been an accident, and we were delayed for an hour and a half. We were stuck in traffic for an hour and a half. It was something that I hadn't done before, so by the time I'd found the parking spot, we were running a little bit late. So we gave it a go. We probably got 2/3 up the mountain. I could actually see the summit. I could see Striding Edge to my right hand side. It was now 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I says to my lad, sack this, we're off. We're going down. And he says, I want to go top, Dad, it's only there. I says, but if I go up there and put a call out, we're going to be up there a while. We're going to be descending in the dark. Basically what I'm saying is the mountains, they'll be there another day. Don't take unnecessary risks. Keep track of time, especially in the winter. A friend of mine, who sadly is no longer with us, Neil, Mike 3 Uniform November Golf, sadly passed away age 58. He was often my partner in crime for some of my SOTA activations. And our MO, our modus operandi was, I would pick him up at 7:45 on the morning. We'd be at the local cafe for 8 o'clock. We'd have a full English breakfast. Okay, we'd stuff his faces. We'd leave the cafe at 8:30. We would then be parked up somewhere in the Yorkshire Dales for roughly 10 o'clock. And on top of a SOTA summit between 11:30 and 12 o'clock. That's what we used to aim for. Didn't always have to be bang on time. I didn't expect military timing, but I did expect things to run smoothly. We'd activated 2 SOTA summits in a day. We did a summit that's no longer with us, which is Golf Stroke November Papa 021 Horsehead Moor. We'd done that one in the morning, and we then took the short drive and went to Golf Stroke November Papa 017 Fountains Fell. We activated that. It got to just after 4 o'clock and we started to descend the summit. We got about halfway down. Obviously this is our second summit of the day, and Neil decided that he'd left his mobile phone at the top, so we had to leg it back up and go find his mobile phone. Luckily we found it and we got off, but keep track of time like that, especially in winter. Just be careful. Don't get cold. The temperature drops as you ascend. Obviously the higher you go, the weather can be very, very different. I was on Fountains Fell a few years ago. I was sat in 4 foot of snow, talking to a station in Leeds, there were no snow whatsoever. He says, it's sunny here, it's a little bit nippy, but it's dry. He didn't believe I was sat in snow till I showed him a photograph. That's a 4-point summit, 2,200 feet-ish off the top of my head, I can't remember. Okay, so the weather can be very different at a decent elevation. And of course, you get cold when you're stopped at the summit. You're climbing up a mountain, you're walking, you're going to get a little bit hot, a little bit warm. You sit down to play radio, your temperature can drop quickly. Okay, very surprising. So just be careful of the cold. Take plenty of water, take some food with you, prepare for emergencies. Make sure your mobile phone's charged. Make sure you let somebody know where you're going. Okay, I'm going to go do this summit. I'm going to go do, I don't know, G-stroke SP005 Pendle Hill. Make sure you let someone know where you're going. Okay, so just be careful. As I say, most of my activations are solo. Twice I've fallen. Once coming off Buckden Pike, came down from the top. Winter time, a little bit slippy. I slipped on some mud and went flat on my backside. Another time coming off Black Hill. There's a old stone path to the top, and the stones were slippy, so I walked in the grass at the edge. Again, I slipped and went straight on my backside. Only thing that will hurt was my pride, luckily. So you got to be careful. I do like to holiday to different parts of the UK to activate some SOTA summits. And last year I went with my ex-whale Natalie, Mike 7 November Tango Delta. We stayed near Holyhead Mountain, which is a SOTA summit. We went down on the Saturday. We got settled. Sunday we had a bit of a chill day. Monday we set off to do Golf Whiskey Stroke November Whiskey 040 Taliban. We'd done this a year before. It's not over difficult, no problem. And we was walking through a field, just walking through grass, and sadly Natalie went over on her ankle, and she let out a bit of a yell. Her foot swelled up like a balloon. That ended up having 9 weeks off work. It wasn't broken, it was just very badly sprained. We should have come home the following Saturday. We came home on the Tuesday. Holiday over. It's that simple. Be careful. I've started using walking paws now. I find it helps massively. Okay, so just be careful out there. So have a go. You don't have to be a mountaineer. You don't have to be super fit. There are some SOTA summits where you can drive to the top. Okay, so you're not allowed to operate from your car. Just a reasonable distance from your car. You can participate from your shack. Of course you can. You might not have bothered with SOTA before, but if you're sat in the shack listening on the bands on VHF or HF and you hear these guys calling, give them a call. They're the guys that's made the effort. They might have got up early on a morning. They've had a couple of hours drive up into the hills somewhere, spent another couple of hours climbing a summit and putting a station on. They've made the effort. Basically, give them a call. Give them a shout. They really appreciate it. Even if they've got the 4 to qualify, just give them a shout, okay? If you are super fit, if you're into mountaineering, it's a good excuse to enjoy the outdoors and on the summit, just enjoying the views, providing you've got someone you're not stuck in cloud. It's a great way to bring two hobbies together, as in amateur radio and hill walking. When I was younger, I used to do 2 summits a day sometimes. There were times when I did Great Whernside, which is a 6-point summit, back to the car. I parked at a place called Tordyke, refilled the rucksack and then went and did Buckden Pike straight after. I've done Pen in the day, back to the car, did Fountains Fell. What I tend to do now, as I get a bit older, is I prefer to spend a little bit more time on the summit, and I tend to do more bands now. I do 40 metres, 20 metres, and I do VHF, but I plan to do 80 metres as well. I want to get into that bit more, using more bands. Just enjoy the summit more, basically, rather than make a dash up a summit, set your radio gear up, work who's there, and then collapse a station and you're off to your next one. Okay, each to their own, I suppose, but I like to spend a bit more time now. So like I say, is get involved in chasing these people if you hear them. Think about activating maybe. Start small, as I says, take somebody with you, do something simple, have a go with that. You often, VHF, you'll hear stations from a decent elevation that you possibly won't hear at home. I think you'll be quite surprised. Use the SOTA internet-based tools. Think about alerting if you're going to go do a summit. Think about spotting. Just remember the database. And like that says, be careful. It can be very addictive. So thanks for watching this. What summits have we got here? Top left, Great Knowtbury Hill. Fantastic. Underneath that, Gummers How in the Lake District. To the right of that, Rombles Moor. So any questions? At this point now, if I were at a local radio club, I'd be asking, has anybody got any questions? There'd often be a show of hands and people would ask me questions. Though what I find most tended to do was give me a round of applause and then come and ask me as I'm packing my gear away, putting my laptop away and some radio stuff I'd taken along and things like that. They'd approach me then, most people. So any questions, put them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. And if I don't, I'm sure there's someone out there, they will answer the questions for you where they can. Okay, so good luck, get yourself involved with summits on the air, but be careful, and I hope to work you on the bands, possibly even summit to summit one day. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you found this useful. 7-3 all, Chris, Mike 0 Romeo Sierra Foxtrot.